So if you want to ugly brick. Interior and exterior. I'll show you that slide. Now you can dress up a pretty wall.
Can you pictures and to drill?
Oh, you need to put some battens over the top of the top walls and pieces. You draw over 3 minutes, that is one way you go.
Well, that was, yeah, I know. I can't wait. Yeah, well, that's very cottagey look.
Yeah. So you can do cottage. You can do, you can do modern. That's all our product.
The regular one.
Yep. All this is ours. That's ours as well.
If we ever do move down, we can discuss this whole under areas. What do you reckon? Yeah. Oh, thank you. We'll take you up on it. Yeah. It's a nice one.
I know. We're just talking about with work being locked away for 11 weeks at home with 2 kids. My wife runs a dental practice, so she just goes goodbye. And of course, the house hasn't been looked after the way she looks after it. 3 boys at home. So whites and colours can go on the machine at the same time. All we found out.
Do everything in the dryer.
That's it. And get it dry before Mum gets home and get it out of the dryer. Well, what we just did is made sure we got them out of the dryer and put away before she got home. We did slip up a couple of times. She's gone, So, it's been,
Shane, there's just a few more people coming in.
that's fine. That's fine. We're just saying I struggled with year 11 and year 6 maths.
Year 11, I don't know about year 6.
Oh, yeah. Actually, he was pretty good. He sort of likes to be by himself and he did well. The little fella's a little bit more social too. He struggled with the whole thing being away from his mates and everything. There's some interesting chats at 10 o'clock when the class got together. One of the little fellas, he's just like his hands all over the place. And because he's at home by himself, he's just woken up. I'm sorry, miss. I just woken up. Trisha, I'll put some water on your face. Okay. So he's carrying on. He's a lovely kid. He's up the road. I said, yeah. We couldn't invite him down. So I said to his mum, I said, look, I'm very sorry. She said, no, it's fine, he's fine.
I think John said it for you.
So that's a renovation. Well, that is a renovation.
Yeah, that's before after.
That's after. That's the back of the house. It's a yeah. Yes. So that's the one.
This,
That's one.
in another 20 years time, you build and start like that once you've got all those things there, some sort of privacy. You know what I mean? Yeah. You have to get.
Well, we've just done one where it's just all glass. You'll see it here. It's all glass. Very, very little.
Because I'm up the coast and it's all
yeah, but you'll have that, and then you'll have a lovely coastal home inside with the water whites and.
Yeah, like some of the houses up there, around Bridge and Springs and that, they're just a square box with all that right across the front except for the garage. Yep. How do you get in front of it? And it just sort of different. It's not it's bloody awful, and it's black.
Yep. Yep.
That's just.
Yep, I know. But we see everything. Morning, how are you? And we see lots of different levels of things.
Yeah. And then next week we guys have
I've just done one down at Roachdale. It's on 5 acres. And it's a Hampton style home, but it's actually directly from the Hamptons. Like this thing's 9 bedrooms. It's huge. It's huge.
Hey, Shane, I think you can kick off now.
Oh, okay. No worries at all.
I think might be if you've done a whole list.
Yeah, sure. That's no worries. Okay. Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome along to the Build Design Centre. I'm Shane from James Hardie. So my background with Hardie's is I've been with James Hardie for 13 years. My background is a plasterer, so I was actually a customer of James Hardie before I started at James Hardie. So pretty cool to see the whole side of our retail and our working from this side of it. The fun thing I love about working at James Hardie is we're local, so we actually just spent $30 million over at our plant at Carroll Park. Good morning to everyone on Zoom as well, so I have to remember everyone there too, guys. So our plant's 34 years old. We make all our product here in Australia. We have 2 plants here in Australia, one at Carroll Park and one at Rose Hill. So you may have heard in the news that we closed down our New Zealand plant a few months ago, only because it was a rented site and we found it more cost effective from here. And plus Carroll Park, the expansion there, one machine that we're just about to push the button on, will actually be able to look after New Zealand and their capacity plus more here. So there's 16 people like me here in Queensland out to help out everyone in the area. Today we're going to be talking about alterations and additions. So just give you some ideas and give you some ways on how to change or renovate your homes. So that's a little bit about myself. This gentleman over here doesn't work for James Hardie. This is Wayne. So Wayne, would you like to talk to everyone and just give a little bit of your background too?
Yeah, sure. Hi, my name's Wayne White. For 31 years, I've been running a company called Constructive Homes in Brisbane. We've been creating more space in Brisbane family homes. And we use a high quality finish, defect free and on time. We specialise in, we also have designed recently our own range of linked extensions, and we're using a modular panel, which is predominantly James Hardie based sheeting. We also use an innovative foundation system as well with that extension. And if you guys want to talk to me later about that, by all means, come and see me after this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. So, guys, has everyone put some IKEA stuff together before and had a great experience with that? I put some together the other day and went really well until the last piece. I got very frustrated with it and just went and asked the people down at IKEA how to put it together. I suppose I use that analogy because my background being a plasterer, I've done a lot of renovation work as well, where we've come on site myself with my boys, and there's a bit of animosity between the homeowner and the actual builder. And so Wayne, as the feedback from a builder side of things, where do you see that possibly falls over, or that sort of doesn't, just, you know, there's a couple of issues, or how does the love affair or the relationship break down a bit there?
What, between the owner and
not between the plasterer, because we never have problems with plasterers.
Well, fortunately, I don't get that problem.
Excellent.
Right.
And why is that, mate? So what do you do?
Well, communication's the main thing.
Okay.
I mean, you've got to communicate. In any relationship, you've got to communicate with people.
Yep.
And it's continually building that relationship through the build.
Okay.
And avoiding any confrontation at all. And of course, being a builder for 31 years, I can easily disgruntle an owner, you know, variations and all those sorts of things. You've got to probably control the whole build, but relationship building is the biggest thing when you're doing home renovation, especially when you're building inside people's homes. Yeah, it's their castle.
Yeah, exactly. It's their forever home. I've always found that as well. We've always treated it with respect because I look at it as I'm in someone's house. Even when I've had to wake up drunk uni students to get them out so we can get some work done. But that's enough about that. So as I said, we just want to run through some, just working if that will work. Might be a sec. There we go, sorry. So we've obviously seen this sort of look. We've got this brick, this is a little job in Indooroopilly that we did just to change the look of a home from the brick through to some lightweight. So we haven't done much there to change it, but we can do some really good looks without spending a lot of money with them. So that was done over actually 5 weeks from go to woe. I actually physically sat with the clients, but it's really cool. We come and have a chat and here, get some ideas. People may not use our product eventually, but as long as we can show them what we can do, and the whole idea is to reduce those labour costs. And I know that Wayne, I've done some work with Wayne in the past. We try to reduce having those extra layers. So the tricks to look for is work within sheet sizes, work to reduce labour on site, just trying to, because these days also with your skip bins cost a lot of money these days. So if you can minimise the amount of trades and the amount of traffic onto your site, because especially like a day like today, the council would be out if it was a day, a weekday, they'd be out making sure the boys don't drive their trucks off the site, and then they'd be getting a $300 on the spot fine. So predominantly there's 6 different types of build that we've found. So we've got our box that we just showed you there, mid-century. So you've got this, you know, the 50s and 60s, the Jetsons kind of look. Design of mixed materials. We're in the 80s, it used to be sort of 4 or 5 products. That's pretty busy. So 3 is a good number. Minimalistic. So if you're up the sunny coast, there's a lot of that very minimal look and build. And look, that some of the projects overlooking some vistas really work, but that's some of the ideas. Modern coastal and Scandi barns. So Scandi barns, where you see these little in a city where you've got a 200-metre block and or a 400-metre block, and they're just trying to make it, dress it up and make it look really cool. So as I was saying, like with the modern look, the box look, this is a job down in South Australia. It's actually out on 200 acres. So it's a pretty cool, that's actually shipping containers as well. So we've used shipping containers and they cover them over. So, you know, we can start with some really, really cool ideas. Please, anyone, if you've got any questions, throw them at us and we can answer them here for you as well. Claddings wise, we tend, with the modern looks, you tend to go with a lot of the horizontal looks and the bigger, wider boards with these. And as I was saying, just make sure you work towards, all our boards are at 4.2. And whenever we talk to the designers or the homeowners, we try to get you to work in increments that are going to save you money by using externals or junctions, and may not be the same. Would you be talking to the clients about working within sheet sizes and in room sizes as well?
Definitely.
That also works with your plasterboard too. There's no good making a room 3.6 or 3.8 because it's actually the plasterboard is 3.6 or 4.2. So you've got that cut, that wastage. So try to work around those. The plasterers will probably say, hey, that's nonsense, but it actually works. You'd be surprised how much it saves time to install it, setting time, painting, and time for you guys to get back into your houses as well. Mid-century, that's actually a house. That was built in the 50s, and that is actually in South Australia, and that's where everyone that's doing a mid-century gets their inspiration from. So some people may not like having glass looking around their house everywhere, but that's the sort of look. Down in Hobart, the great thing about our product and what you can build with, you don't, as you can see, you're not touching the landscape. So if that was block, we would have to cut and fill, thousands of dollars of cutting and fill. I was on a job site the other day, which is some townhouses over in Barden, and we're talking a 1 in 20, so it's straight down. So we've got ladders everywhere. It's quite interesting what the work is, but we can do it. There's a lot of cost in your actual, in your substrate. So there are things to look at if you're doing a new build on some land. Have a look at actually the prep work that you need to do for the site. I'm not saying to go full lightweight, but what I'm saying is to have a talk to your builder, talk to your engineers, get the things set out and get your budget set out properly as well. Is anyone renovating an older home at the moment? Okay. Is it pre-1985? Okay. Have we looked at possibly some of the product maybe asbestos in it? Excellent, because that's what we always talk about, and I teach TAFE as well, and first year designers, make sure that you actually put that in your budget, because it could blow out and it could be scary, because that's something we need to, it's historically a part of our history, but we're very proactive talking about handling and looking after things. I'm an asthmatic plasterer, so I always wear a mask, but we do go out and talk about that all the time. Okay, so make sure you factor that in. So thank you for that.
Interesting you're talking about that, Shane.
Yep.
Because the other thing is town planning in Brisbane with different products. And I'm not trying to bag the old Hardies, but we've got to ensure the town planning. We've got pre-1946 homes, and then we've got pre-1911. And if it's pre-1911, it's a horror story of the Brisbane City Council, especially around facades. A lot of restrictions around that, right? And they're very big with like for like. And what I mean by like for like is that they want, let's take windows for example, they won't accept aluminium windows that replicate timber windows. They want timber windows that replace timber windows.
And so
recently had a case
Sorry,
which I'm building on at the moment, and we spent $1,000 for a direction from the Brisbane City Council to tell us exactly that. So, yes.
And it's to the new Australian standards. A lot of the times when you go to renovate, we looked at doing it and we end up not renovating because of the cost to replace all the windows, because we're going to replace everything upstairs, because our windows weren't to the current Australian standards because they were 1980s house. So the cost of changing the windows, so we just went and bought another house. It just worked out that way for us. When, so for example, you're doing a renovation and you come across the asbestos and the clients haven't realised that, what's the step from then?
Well, I've generally realised it through the inspection, right? And I've incorporated that into our proposal, into our building proposal. And then just to reassure ourselves that it is asbestos, we take a test prior to the build, right? Because it could be a case where we've calculated that it is asbestos and it isn't. So that's what we do. We take tests, and they're just free tests that we take. So it's worth its time. And let me tell you, we've got to a stage now with health and safety that there's different classes of asbestos, and if you've got the bad one, you're really going to pay for it. A mate of mine's doing a renovation. He's a builder himself down at Scarborough, and he thought he had the class. I think it's a class B, and he didn't. He had class A, and thousands and thousands of dollars to take out a small portion of it.
So obviously you keep your communication open and it all works.
Yeah, that's right.
So as you can see with minimalistic, as I was saying before, Nikki, that's a house there. It's all glass. So but as I said, to get that look, we're using our horizontal looks and that board to give it that broad wall look to it. All the cladding went up in about 2 days there because it's quite a fast, effective way of doing things. So I'll work with it.
When you were doing
Sorry.
When you go back to that, glass, there's a fair bit of structural steel that's got.
It's all structural steel,
to hold those glass.
Yeah. So basically, that was a structural steel frame. That's what it just looked like. Just looked like this. Looked like a commercial project. It was built as a commercial project because that's the look that the client wanted. So we got polished concrete throughout the actual. The kitchens are all polished concrete. It formed on site. So yeah, it was an amazing build, but it's a different build. So
in terms of using structural steel and then cladding, it's like a lot of time in the planning, but once it's done fast on site.
It is. It's very done here. So like pre-nail frames, if you're looking at doing a home, you can either get carpenters will come on site and do a stick frame, you can be bundle of timber and make the frames on site, or they'll get it made at a frame and truss plant. It turns up. It's like a big Meccano set and put it on the site. But it's all about getting that detail right. So if you are working with a designer or an architect, make sure that you get the last say in what happens, because you're the one that's your forever home. Make sure that you are happy with things before we start building, because it's okay to do it, get the design, you change your design up front, because once it starts building and the frames are ordered and such, that's where the cost comes in. So yes, you would pay some costs with the designer or the architect to change things, but it's better to do it then on site, and this man will ask you for variations.
How well do you get on with architects?
Listen,
be careful.
You need to go to my website to see what my relationship is with. I do a lot of blogs about architects, all right? And I'm a designer, construct builder. So I'm teaching you to come to me because I'm gonna keep you in line with your budget. That's the biggest thing in the industry right now. Apart from bureaucracy, it's clients' budgets. They're too low. They're too low to where they should be. So what we've got to do, we've got to come up with innovative ideas, and we've got to micro build now.
So that one was designed by an architect. We get on very well with architects. So I spend a lot of my time in my territory looking after architects, designers, specifiers, because if everyone knows all about our products, it works very well. Yeah. So now we're getting into our coastal. So this is more that we'd see in the Queensland market, down the Gold Coast, up here. We see a lot of renos where we've had the old classical style brick home at the front, and out the back we go 2-story and do a modern, do a coastal look on it, which is quite interesting. Once again, we've got two trades. You've got the chippy putting up the frame, they're installing the product, and you've got a painter. So we can get, and if we wanted as you can see with a modern look, we can get a rendered look on a lightweight construction as well. So once again, chippy, painter. So we're trying to minimise that waste and cost on site, because if we actually have a heavy block on site, that's quite costly to actually take off site. I'm not saying not to use block. Actually, I promote using, we can save money by using our products in other areas. Use a nice feature brick like the new PGH brick out there, looks really nice, and it complements products. So mixed design looks really well. Or even doing a reverse design where you have a feature brick wall inside. So once again, it comes down to the design of what you're looking for. As we can see there, this is the cost-effective way. We just put our flat sheet on the wall and we use that actually fibre cement trim over the top. Normally that'd be done in timber. We can give that system there a 10-year manufacturer's warranty because the trim won't rot. You can sit out in the weather, paint, not a problem. Yes?
Just with the flat roof and insulation.
Yep.
Still do the flat roof and insulation?
Yes, yes, mate. Yep. Yeah. So if you're using a flat roof and a box guttering around it, make sure the box guttering is designed well for heavy rain. But yeah, your insulation, the insulation these days is very good. So you can get a thermal prediction done. We do a lot of, at the moment, we're doing a lot of acoustic predictions because of the new runway. We're finding areas in Brisbane now that actually require a higher noise. There's a new noise corridor. So there's a couple of projects that we helped get over the line by actually designing a wall system for them with our product. We actually also said to them, talk to your window manufacturer, because a single glazed window on that wall won't help achieve it. So we actually sent out some thermal, acoustic ratings to the builder and to the designer. Actually, no, that was an architect on that one. He said, fantastic. They now send us those requests on behalf of the client. So it's just tying it all in. So yeah, this insulation is another thing you need to consider as well, especially on Western walls. We get a lot of times where people want it, and the new colour is black, or monument is another colour, because you see a lot of the colour bond and other metal claddings that have got that sort of look. And just as long, it's fine to use, just as long as make sure you have some insulation in the wall, because if you don't, it could end up in a pretty warm room, that's for sure.
Before we go there, the gentleman asked about insulation on low-pitch roofs. The other concern around low-pitch roofs, from my experience, is if you're thinking about doing internal ducting, ducted air conditioning, low-pitched roofs, not really good. I've got a low-pitched roof myself on my own that I built back in 2012, and only because the powers to be wanted a low-pitched roof. And
I'm the financial advisor, Minister for Opposition.
It created a lot of problems with ducting, and on my job at the moment, where we've got the same issues, we've got a low-pitched roof extension on the 2-story, and I don't know, we've got probably the rise of the roof's probably about 800, and we're really struggling to be creative to get the ducting into the rooms that the owner wanted.
So in that case, Wayne, would you look at doing some bulkheads in the rooms?
Oh, we've done bulkheads in some unfortunate areas of the house, like wardrobes. We've had to put ducting boxes in wardrobes. The client's very happy because I don't want, I don't want reverse cycle bolted onto the side of the house all the way around. I want ducted one. Do whatever you've got to do. So that's what we've had to do. And
that's where it works well, having the client and the builder or the designer talk to each other at the right stage. So you can imagine if halfway down the build went, oh, we want ducted air conditioning now. And everyone would have went, right. And then there's the whole, what do we do? So, those sorts of things work really well once it's all put out in the front. Probably the best thing is get all the ideas with the designer, the architect, or with Wayne. So this is what we want. How can we achieve it? And that's what we find. I do it with clients. They'll come in here with an idea, and we sit down. They might have their plans with them. I said, what look do you want? Oh, I'm not sure, or they'll come in with their scrapbook or their iPad full of house ideas and Pinterest ideas. So that's what we're trying to achieve, create who you're working with, or are you working with someone, and give some ideas. So it's just get it all out there before we start building. So mixed designs, we're getting a lot of this now. So we're getting a lot of sort of face brick, our claddings up here. And As you can see here, we've got an older build, and we've got an extension there, granny flat on a kid's room onto the side there. So it was a weatherboard. I wanted something a little bit different, so we just gone for one of our flatter sheets. Goes up very quick. That's called our matrix. Very simple to put on. Works very well. Gets the speed of the job done. Over there, we've got some EasyTex, which is our new version of a blue board. So everyone knows blue board, and we render it. Well, our new product is a sheet that we've pre-textured. So we've cheated a bit. We've taken the render away. So once again, another trade off the side. No offense to all the trades, we're just trying to make it more efficient. So once again, we get the Wayne orders it, gets it from the hardware store, comes out, nails it up, and we just paint it.
Is it going to be much more durable? Like,
Yeah, it's all fine. Yeah.
having to muck around.
So durability wise, we give all our products manufacturer's warranties, as long as it's installed to our manufacturer's warranty. So my job is to go and see the builders, make sure they actually import the designers and architects about how to specify it properly. Then we go and see the builders and make sure that they run through and how to put it together properly.
So the thermal heating ratings.
Yep.
On there,
So with our thermal heating, the products themselves don't achieve much, and that goes for most claddings as well, and bricks. It's actually your cavity. So by the right wall depth. So the whole idea with sound and with heat is to slow it down. So on steel frames, we do things a little bit differently. We actually put a thermal break between the cladding and the steel to slow the heat transfer down. In timber, we use our cladding, our sarking, insulation, and then sheets on the inside to achieve that. So what we need to do is just find out what you want to achieve, R3.5, R2.5, and then we work back from that. Our engineering team, I'd send them the plan and go, this is what we're trying to achieve on here. They'd come back with something. It normally comes back within about 3 days. So depending on how busy they are and how much of I'm a pain in their neck to drive them mad to get it, we get it through. So the more information we get from you before we start, the better it works for you. Okay. So that works very well. Scandi barn, this has become very, I look after Toowoomba. We've got a lot of this look, they're a lovely looking design. The one that we did in, pardon?
Oh, it's just this trend to not have eaves on houses.
Yes.
And then having to shut your windows because
So,
otherwise your carpet gets wet. I just don't get it.
So-
council requirement to have a certain
no, Nick, it's not. Here in Queensland, we're so used to seeing eve sheet because we like to sit outside in the cool. I've been to Melbourne, I've been to some houses down there, and I think, hang on, this place gets 30 degrees in the summer. Why hasn't your patio got a roof on it? Oh, because in winter it gets to -2 here. So you better get to 30 in the sun. You know, we're all about having an open house and a flowing house. And then when you go up into the tropics, it's even bigger. You'll see a lot of the houses up there. They're a very long, low roof. Plus, it's also cyclonic. It's interesting up when we go up higher. We're now starting to get builders building in lightweight because, you know, Cyclone Tracy, everyone remembers Cyclone Tracy, or some do. I'm showing my age. Everyone built in things you need to build in block. Block's good, but also when block lets go, it's now flying debris. But so lightweight cladding does work in cyclonic areas. I was up in Cairns at Christmas time. It was really pleasing to see some of the builders really working. I said, why have you gone for that? He said, well, it's trades. I've got so many trades up there this way. I've got my chippy gang, I've got my painters, and I've got less trades. I can get things built quicker, still to cyclonic areas. We do things a little bit differently. We face fix things and there's a little bit to do, but we can come through that. So yeah, with eaves wise, this is just a look that's coming in now, especially smaller inner city or in smaller blocks. I've got some in Toowoomba where there's been an old Queenslander, it's gone, and they've split the block and they put 2 of these on. One of them is two products on it, but they changed the colours, so it looks like there's a lot of different products on it. So we can design and mix and match with our products as well. So for example, that EasyLab, its thickness is the same as one of our other products. So we can get this really funky look, but we haven't done much. We just changed and put a couple of different sheet designs in the wall. So there's some things we can play with there for that. So as you can see, we've got timber. Timber, everyone likes to have some timber infills and features. That's fine, but you've got to make sure you look after your timber. And if you don't want to look after your timber, we've found now we've got customers that have come to us and said, hey, we can give a timber look on your product. We'll warrant it for you. There's some samples outside there. I had a commercial build in Toowoomba. We had to retrofit over tilt slab to get it looking like a non-combustible timber. The designer said, what am I going to do? I showed him one of our products. We had a timber wash put on it. It was pre-finished and it looks fantastic. So there's a lot of this non-combustibility coming through too. Saying that, our products are non-combustible. Depending on what fire rating that you need to require, we can actually achieve a system. So the board itself won't burn, but it doesn't have a fire rating because fire ratings work on minutes. You may see a 60, 60, 60. That's actually the term, that's your structural, your way they break it down. We can make up firewall systems for you without a problem. In actual fact, some of our products, right down to a 6mm product on the outside, can achieve that. In bushfire zones, I've just done some down in Stanthorpe, we actually have to go to a flame zone, so we can actually make those systems work very well for you. So this works, it takes about 10 days to be done for you. There's some companies here in Brisbane that do it, and there's a couple of companies from Melbourne that will do it on site for you. The one in Melbourne, they'll give you a 25 manufacturer's paint warranty. So no painting for 25 years. Your beauty. I'm a plasterer, I don't like painting. Everyone's seen the Hampton size. If you're going down through Bulimba, Balmoral, in those areas, it's a real traditional look here in Brisbane. What Wayne was saying about heritage listed areas, we have a lot of areas where council will want to say no new product that's got to be like for like or similar. The pleasing thing for us is linear is predominantly used in those areas because it's a fibre cement. You buy them at 90 on a pack. They're pre-primed, so all our products are pre-primed, so your painter doesn't need to put 3 coats on, just 2. It's all concealed, and it works very well. So if you're looking at doing Hamptons, a few little guides on what you need to look at, you know, so you go neutral colours. You see a lot of these sort of ones that are very light in the area with their colours and their palette. With your clads, so they're saying make nice big, thick, chunky trims around your windows. That works as a Hampton style. When you're doing rework in the interiors, over there, the top one there, that's actually some of our external cladding done internally. So it's actually a kid's room. So that, my 2 boys, they'd wreck walls, which they do, that can handle the knocks, and it just gives a different texture to the walls. Do up the gardens. Make sure your gardens are sort of not too high, but just, you know, if you're doing a Hampton style, there'll be a type of plants to look at for your outside of your walls, and just be clever with the contrast. It's good to go white, but it's also nice to throw some colour in and have it be a bit personal with it. I've done one up in Toowoomba and we've got orange, and I mean vibrant orange throughout the house. And when it was getting done, they told me the colour palette. I said, oh, I make out I'm colourblind because I don't want to get involved. But I thought, geez, but it worked. It really did. So really, most of the time that you're going to be looking at doing a renovation is, if it's an older house, you've got rot on the timbers, cracks and splinters. You're forever getting sick of doing the repairs. You may find that your power bill's gone up a little bit, or you just want to change the look. So I just wanted to throw a couple of photos there for you. Before and after, before and after. Pretty like the old trees gone, but just a couple of ideas there for you. This one's a pretty simple change. If you have a look, all they've done is they've taken the balcony off upstairs. They've taken the balcony off downstairs, put a couple of French doors in there. They've put some bifold windows on where the kitchen was over there, and they've painted the brick white, and they put a patio, a deck on the back. So that was the outside. Inside, we can use some of our products to overlap over block and such. So this is just some of our weatherboards. We've used one of our more economical sheets and made an express joint and ceiling. Very simple to do. Wayne's not a problem, he'll smash it up in a couple of days. We've changed some colours there, and then we use some of our roofs that we did a lovely raked ceiling area over there. And it's just just really opens up the room. That there is that photo of that old house. That was the kitchen. That's the new kitchen. This may look familiar. We've got a replica of it outside. So that's what it used to look like, and that's what it is now. I saw some smiles. We're doing a kitchen? No. Bathrooms, look, there are different types of products, but as a great thing to keep the moisture out of your bathrooms is our Villaboard. So it sits in behind everything. It doesn't get seen, but the great thing is if there's any leaks in the wall, it's going to handle it. We've used our Hardie groove there to give some features. on the ceiling and on the wall there, just to give you some ideas of what can be used, because a lot of the times people think our products are external products a lot of the time. Outdoors, that's a lovely little, that's Wayne's weekender. So he's doing well. Just, did you want to go back to that one? Oh, sorry. Go back to that photo. Come on. Oh, too late. Sorry. I'll go like one more time, I promise. Ready? There you go. So, as you can see, just open it up. So the outdoor areas, everyone likes a nice breezy area to change them around. That's a lot of white. I wouldn't have that much white, but you know, it just depends on if you're in Toowoomba or if you're in red soil, you wouldn't be doing that. That's for sure. I know. So the whole idea is just to make the house livable and entertaining when you come home. Because if you're having a tough day, come home, just dress it up to how you want to feel. You know, just to break up and grab a drink and whatever. With outdoor patios, we actually you'll see our decking outside. So we have a lot of people. We haven't had decking for a long time. We've had Hardie deck's been out for about 5 years. Up until then, we actually just basically did compressed sheeting and put tiles over the top. So Hardie deck's been a new one to us. I'm all for anyone who wants to use a timber deck, not a problem. Please make sure you look after the timber deck, or you'll be seeing me in about 3 or 4 years, which I found we've had Hardie deck for 4 years now. I've actually got a couple of redecks we're doing now because clients I'd seen back then have gone, I want to go with something that's no maintenance or low maintenance. It can be used in all different areas. This is what we normally see. We'll have a retrofit over a timber deck. And as I said, I'm all a favour from timber deck as long as you look after the timber deck. Because if you don't, you will get this sort of stuff. Which is disappointing because you spend a lot of money on the deck.
You just said you just retrofit over the top of the timber.
Now, what we do, Nikki, we take that up first, and this guy and any builder wouldn't go retrofit straight over because they want to see what the substrate is. Especially if it's in a condition like that, you don't know if the joists might be rotted or there might be an issue with it, and it might be with the ground subsidence. So, you know, you rip it up in a day, you have a look at it, you get a look at what it is. We actually don't need as many joists because normally on a timber deck you'd be using 450 centres. We go a 500 centre, so a little bit easier, but that's what you do. You wouldn't definitely go straight over because, as you can see, that's got a bit of wave in it as well. You'd want to really just get out and straighten it all up.
So if you've got a decent sized deck and you want to replace it with
Yep.
the Hardie product, and you took the decking boards up, do you need council approval for all of that? Like if you've got, say, a 12x4 deck?
Actually, very good point. So when you're doing a renovation, if it's an extension to your home, your current size of your home, if it's an extension that's new, you do. If it's an existing one and you're replacing, you don't. So yeah, so just bear that in mind. Even if you're putting a landing on a home and it's brand new, you need to check with the council because it's an extension to that wasn't there before. So just make sure you check with the council because we've had several ones where we've been to and they've gone, we've got a bit of an issue. And I said, just talk to your council, talk to your certifier. And you just make sure you do that. So am I correct in saying that way? Yeah.
Okay. It's getting harder and harder.
Yeah. So for the sake of the phone call, just check. But normally, rule of thumb, if it's making the building bigger anyway, you'll need council approval for it. So just a couple of little different ideas we've done around tools and pieces. That down there is called herringbone. It's just a little bit of a different design. A little bit more work involved with that one. So this product is a DIY. You can do it yourself. You give me a phone call, I'd run through how to do it. It's very simple how it goes down. It's all concealed fixed screws. Wayne's too busy doing stuff anyway.
Tell me, with this system, does it have a channel, a PVC channel between the boards?
No, it's not. It's actually a metal PVC. It's not a PVC because the great thing about this is we can actually build this into full flame zones. So in bushfire zones where it's called Z, which is basically you're building on a matchstick. It's very flammable. You got to take photos of your property every 6 months, give them to the council. So yeah, it's lovely, but you just got to make sure. We've got some of those areas here. Mount Cootha, Shayla Park, there's some areas in there. Yeah, Mount Cootha. Builders ring you and say, what's Z? And mate, you're building a really flammable place. Why? And you get out and there's trees above the house and all sorts of things. So it's very prevalent these days to do those things. So, yeah, so it's all metal, so yeah, so there won't be anything that will melt. couple of little retrofits. This is the retrofit we did down the coast. This was only going to finish at the end of the build, but the client decided to go the whole deck. You notice there's no handrail? When we're down there building, I said, where's the fence? Believe it or not, you don't need a fence if it's 1,200 to the sand, because they look at it as a child can fall and they won't be seriously injured. I said, so whose child are they throwing off to check that? But that's a part of it. You always think you've got to have a handrail around things. But yeah, so because it's on the beach, they didn't need it. So before anyone picked up on that, I just sort of let you know that one. As I was saying, it's bushfire rated. You can timber span it, you can paint it, you can do anything with it. We've done some fire pits. I'll just roll through those. Exterior styling, so put your own signature on your outside living areas. Like you see us blokes do a man cave and put a beer tap and things out there. Make it your little tranquil spot. Make it an extension of you. You just enjoy it. This one here, the kids have put a garden in it. Mine would end up with weeds in it because the boys wouldn't bother about it. As we said, we can build this right up to the bush. Have an entertainer, holiday deck. All of our information's on our websites. There's a couple more here to go through with you. Who's on Instagram? No? We're on Instagram. Follow us there. We're on our web pages as well. So as you can see, there's a few spots there. There's a couple of little posts from Instagram. I was 5 years ago, I wasn't on Instagram. I'd say Insta what? It's really cool for me to go to a build site and actually put photos with your permission of your build on our site. It really is inspirational. Wayne's is over there. We actually also have our My Hardie. So you've actually got a site that you can go to and do takeoffs for yourself. And there's also, if you need some more information, so all of our manuals are updated all the time there. So when I go to print, we might do an update 2 days later and it's not up to date. But I'll give you my card too, so please give me a shout. Happy to help out with anything. And that's basically me. So thank you very much. If you've got any questions, and I'm going to be hanging around for a little while, so please let me know. So thank you. Yeah, so that's what we find. It's just don't be afraid to do things.
Just at the front of my property, there's a small patio area. It's not a covered area.
Thank you very much.
And the slope of the property is downwards, so we get a lot of dust growth. And I was just thinking you could use the decking area over what is kind of existing area that wasn't that wouldn't be considered an extension.